Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to our show, Ghosts Are Near, where we discuss various aspects of the paranormal and paranormal research. I am your host, Keith Johnson. With me is my co-host, Sandra Johnson.
We're really here this time. Hello.
Yes, we are really here. And we are also the founders of New England Anomalies Research. And I'd especially like to welcome everybody here this evening on our 5th anniversary show. In 5 years. 5 years already. Doesn't seem it. Where does the time go?
Where does it go? And they cheered, and we can do that today.
And I'd like to show you, we have an additional pin here. We have Chuckles the Clown, Chuckles the Evil Clown. And to go along with it, complement it, we have Nurse Misery.
From the Chuckles and Laughs show, of which we are great fans.
Yeah.
Watch it. You'll like the show.
So we have them complementing right next to each other, see? So, and I'd also like to send out birthday greetings to our dear friend, Father Bob Bailey. Happy birthday, Father Bob.
Happy birthday, Bob.
How about it going, really? You're only halfway through. Wait. Well, he says, can you believe I'm reaching 50 years? So,
oh, he's 50.
So he's
I got you now.
So he's only halfway through, you see?
Okay.
Yep.
Depending.
Right. Okay. Well, we have a great guest with us this evening. It's my pleasure. Oh, I'd also like to say hello to Marge and Linda, joining us, our old theater friends.
Marge and Linda.
Yeah, as we
here
said,
in the studio. As
I said in 1992 when we were doing our TV promo for A Christmas Carol. We love you, Marge. And we'd especially like to welcome Margaret Florio from the Rhode Island Paranormal Research Group.
Thank you.
It's a very, very long-standing organization. I think the oldest in Rhode Island.
It is, and it's the oldest continuing group in New England.
Wow.
So established in 1984 by N.E.A.R.
Mm-hmm.
It was founded by Andy and a few of his friends. And like most people in paranormal research, it was Andy got involved after he had an experience.
Yeah, that's often the way it happens.
Yep,
yeah.
that's
it
how
was
it goes.
Long before the network shows.
Oh, long before that. And, you know, they really had a lot of criticism, you know, from certain groups, you know, that really didn't understand what it was that, you know, that paranormal research was about. Mm-hmm. At the time, there were, you know, 4 of them, and now it's almost 27 years later, and we have 12 members currently. Andy is our director. He stays very active with the group. And we also have a satellite group now in Massachusetts. It was founded in 2009, the Massachusetts Paranormal Research Group, which was established by Dave Costello, who's a longstanding member of our group. So we were thrilled when he decided to do that. He's up in southeastern Massachusetts. Mm-hmm. So we were very excited when he decided to do that. They're a great little group. They're just starting out, but they've got quite a few investigations under their belt, and they are doing a public investigation this Saturday at N.E.A.R Rock.
Oh, great. Fantastic.
Yep, and,
very active location.
Extremely active, yes.
Yeah, I've been there too. It's a really neat place. So they're doing that. So they've been very busy.
It's like you're practically guaranteed activity when you go there, paranormal activity at N.E.A.R Rock.
Very good for EVPs.
Yes.
Well, we went there. My group went there. There were maybe 4 or 5 of us. We do these field trips once in a while to allegedly haunted locations in and around New England, and we decided to check out N.E.A.R Rock on our way to Freetown State Forest. And I had brought this beautiful Native American flute that Andy had made for me. And I climbed up on the rock. A bunch of us climbed up on the rock, and I sat on the rock. I had my video camera, and I played my flute, and I thought, boy, if this doesn't get them going, nothing will. But we got nothing that day. Nothing at all. Maybe I scared them away with my playing.
You never know.
Or maybe I should have practiced.
Well, at some point we need to get Andrew on the show, so I want to put that out there. Either with you or by himself, whatever he would prefer or you would prefer.
That would be great. He's very busy.
Caught in Boston traffic tonight,
yeah,
I heard.
Caught in Boston traffic. He had a photo shoot up there, and he got stuck in traffic, so he wanted me to let you know he was sorry he couldn't make it. But he also, he does a lot of other things, and he's very busy doing different presentations for our group to different groups. He gives a lot of presentations to schools and civic organizations and historical and preservation societies. So he keeps very busy doing that as well. Busy guy.
How did he actually first become interested in the paranormal? Can you tell us that, since he wasn't able to be here tonight? Do you know what kind of experience he had? And then you can tell us what your experience was that first.
As I recalled, it involved, I think it was a case of beer. It was kind of a dare from one of his friends. I think they were at a closed down mental hospital, and his friend dared him to come with him, and he said, I bet you a case of beer that you are going to experience something. And Andy, who was a total skeptic at the time, said, no, I'm not going to experience anything at all. I don't believe in this. But it was a dare, and it was a case of beer. So they went in the hospital, and they were walking around, and Andy was walking down a corridor, and he saw a man go out one room and into the other room across the hall. And he thought it was one of his friends, playing a prank on him. So, he ran down the hall and ran into the room that the guy went into, and there was no one there. And he examined the windows, looked out the windows, examined to see if there were any doors, any way a person could get out. And there was no way a person could get out. And he said, I owe you a case of beer.
So that did it for him.
That did it for him. I mean, seeing is believing. In
saw
this
the
case.
Spirits, but didn't get his spirits.
No, he didn't. He didn't.
Well. And then there must have been some defining moment for you that caused you to want to start investigating. What might that be?
Well, I've been experiencing the paranormal since I was a child. I saw my first apparition at the age of 8.
And you consider yourself sensitive, correct?
I do. I do pick up on things when we visit locations. Names will pop into my head, images of what someone might have looked like, dates. Sometimes I pick up on scents, like a cigar smoke is a big one, or perfume, things like that. So yeah, I do. And I think maybe because I was exposed to that at a young age, it made me more sensitive.
And the incident when you were 8, was that in your home?
Yes, it was. It was. I woke up in the middle of the night. It was in the summer, and the weather was a lot like it is now, hot, humid, not a breath of air. Yeah, yuck. And I woke up, and there was a woman standing next to my bed. There was a window next to my bed, and she was looking out the window. And she couldn't have been more than a couple feet away from me, and she looked just as solid as the two of you. And she was just standing there looking out the window, and I thought she was a live person until I saw what she was wearing. She had on a long dress with long sleeves and a very high neck, and I remember thinking, how can she wear that? You know, here I was just with a sheet over me and not much else on, and I was uncomfortable. And then I realized that, hey, you know, she's not moving and I can't see her feet, and but she just stood there, and I watched her for some time, and I remember doing close one eye, close the other eye, close both eyes, open them real fast. She was still there, and I guess after a while I just fell asleep, but I remembered the next morning what I had seen, and I asked my mother if she had been in my room the night before, and she said no. And I asked my older sister, who, regarded me as the biggest brat on the face of the earth, and she said, what would I be doing in your room? I said, okay, that rolls her out. It's the only two females in the house other than me. And I said, well, I told them what I saw. And my mother quickly wrote it off as a dream. But after that,
Not surprisingly, but then you went on to experience
other things all the time, hearing footsteps, seeing flashes of light, feeling like I was being observed, things like that. So nothing really threatening, never any kind of physical touching or anything like that.
Well, that's I wanted to ask you about that. Many people who are sensitive or intuitive do tend to sometimes feel threatened because you can perceive these things, these forces. Sometimes you're singled out. I don't know if you've ever had that as a problem, feeling like you're overwhelmed by this when you go into a location, or are you pretty well grounded?
I think because what I lived with activity, I really didn't think it was paranormal. It fascinated me. I would ride my bike to the library every day. I read every book on the paranormal in that library. It just fascinated me. I just wanted to know more. There have been times when I've, been in a location and felt panic.
Right, yeah.
I don't know if it's because I'm picking up on what the entity there is feeling, or if it's just me feeling overwhelmed. But usually I don't. Usually I feel very comfortable.
Well, we'd like to get into some of your experiences with the Rhode Island Paranormal Research Group, your organization. But before we do, we researched the website before having you on, and one of the things that really impressed us is that you have a mentor program.
Yes.
We're constantly being contacted, and I wish I had known that, because we're constantly contacted by people, especially people in high school age,
right, exactly,
who would like to go on an investigation. At least once, maybe they need to do a paper or some sort of project for school.
Program, yes.
And we don't have that in our organization. But I never know how to answer when we get these sort of emails. Can we come on an investigation with you? So your group sort of actually has an ongoing program for.
Yeah, we've been doing this for about 5 years, I think. My son was actually one of the first that was mentored. Andy was his mentor because, of course, being a family member, I couldn't mentor him. But, we have forms that have to be filled out, and we do it in conjunction with the school. It was part of one of his senior projects. He had to job shadow.
Right.
So he job shadowed us, and we took him. He attended meetings. He attended investigations. He had usually the requirement is 15 hours that they have to spend. We train them on the equipment. We put them to work.
Right.
We put them to work, usually carrying the stuff that we don't, the heavy stuff. And,
well, they're the younger people too.
That's it, they got young backs. Let them carry the heavy stuff.
That's what interns are for.
And it's very satisfying when they get their 15 hours in, they do their project, we help them with their project. Sometimes we get to see, the work they did. My son did a music video, because he's a musician, and he did a music video with footage from different investigations. He actually caught an EVP while filming some footage, so that was pretty
great.
exciting.
Perfect.
But we've had five students so far complete it, and one of them recently joined our group, T.R.I.P.R.G.
Excellent.
She is a wonderful investigator. She's once she turned 18, she's like, that's it, I want to join your group, and she's she keeps our spirits up, so to speak. She's our cheerleader, and we're very happy to have her, and we're thrilled to have young people. It's wonderful.
That's a good point. She keeps your spirits up, and she's a cheerleader. You really, really, really need somebody like that on your team, because sometimes you're at a location, as you know, all night long, and if there's not somebody keeping that energy up, it's just waiting for something to happen, and you really need that. I know when we were in TAPS, it used to always be Brian used to keep us awake.
Oh, yes, right.
Used to keep the
he'll
energy,
keep your spirits up, believe me.
The energy
Even
going.
if there are no spirits, he'll keep your spirits up.
Speaking of Brian,
Well, actually, we have a lot of questions about some of your on-site investigations, but we're going to take a very brief break, and we'll be right back with Maggie Florio. So hold that thought. I hope it comes up. Told you we'd be right back. That's a quick sneak preview of Haunted Rhode Island, coming to Rhode Island PBS this September. So keep an eye out for that. We'll talk more about that as the weeks go on. So Maggie, some about your investigations.
Okay.
What would you like to ask? Which location would you like to start with?
well, I know you really wanted to talk about Fort Adams, so let's get right to it.
Yes.
Well, Fort Adams is a site that we're currently investigating. Last year, we started doing ghost tours there.
And this is in Newport, Rhode Island, correct?
Fort Adams in Newport, Rhode Island. We did 2 summer ghost tours, and then we did ghost tours as part of the Halloween Fortress of Nightmares. They have the Tunnels of Terror, which is like a typical haunted house kind of thing, where you go through the tunnels and people are dressed up and they jump out and scare you, and it is very frightening. I did that with my son when he was younger. And,
I would imagine in Fort Adams and Newport, yes.
yeah, and the people that do it are very dedicated, and they try to make it as authentic as possible as far as the costumes and the makeup and everything. They do a fabulous job. It is very scary. We were doing the ghost hunts. When you go in the main gate, which is the east gate, to the left is the tunnels, to the right was the area that we were working on, and there were about 4 or 5 locations that we were doing investigations. And the summer ghost hunts were 3 hours long. We had a limit.
Wow.
A limit of 40 people maximum. We sold no more than 40 tickets, and what we would do is break those 40 people up into like 4 separate groups of 10. So you were in a small group. You could spend about 20 minutes to a half hour in each location doing investigating, taking pictures. We demonstrate the equipment, tell them about, a little bit about the activity that was in each section. So we did that last year, and now this year we're back, and we're doing 5 summer ghost hunts. We did one in May, one in June. We're doing one July 22nd, one August 26th, and one September 23rd. And then again, we're going to do the last 2 weekends in October as part of the Halloween activities. Those are go by a little faster. You only get to spend about 5-10 minutes in each location. It's more of a walkthrough kind of thing.
The ones around Halloween you're talking
Yeah, the
about?
ones around Halloween. But the ones we're doing now are a lot longer, a little more hands-on.
Sounds like fun.
Yeah, it is. It's an awesome location. Of course, we spent a whole night there last year before we even started with the public ghost hunts, because we wanted to see what kind of activity was there. And this has to be the most active location I have ever been in.
Really?
You know, in 8+ years that I've been with the group. It's just amazing. One of our members, Nancy Leathers, she's a wonderful EVP.
Oh yes, we know Nancy.
You know Nancy, she's great. We were there, I think it was during a public ghost hunt. She had captured an EVP. She had asked for a name. She said, if there's someone here, give me your name, or something to that effect. And she got a man saying, Spaulding. Wow. Now, being the consummate researcher that she is, she researched the name Spaulding, Fort Adams, Newport, and found an article from the New York Times dated August 30th, 1881, about a torpedo accident that took place in Newport Harbor the previous day, August 29th, 1881, where two Lieutenant Colonel Eady's and a Lieutenant Lyman Spaulding were blown up by a torpedo. They were testing torpedoes out in the harbor, and they had brought a torpedo out and put it in the water, rowed back and detonated it, and it didn't go off. So they were to get another torpedo and repeat the process with this torpedo. They rowed out, they were about to deploy the torpedo, and it blew up. It was directly under Lieutenant Colonel Eady's seat. He was blown 200 feet into the air. Lieutenant Spaulding was blown about 15 or 20 feet into the air. Both men were killed instantly. It was, there was an inquest, of course, with it being the military, and they determined that it was just a horrible accident. But the thing is that this was to be Lieutenant Spaulding's last duty in Newport. He was going to be deployed elsewhere afterwards. And we continue to get EVP from him. We continue to have communication with him. And he doesn't want to leave the fort. And we think that it's a typical case of unfinished business. He did not finish his duty there, so he will not leave. And we've gotten more EVP from him and photographs. It's sad, but
you're right.
He's there. He's doing his duty. And so I thought that was just fascinating, because you have the history to go along with the evidence, to go along with the activity. So
it does sound like an interesting location. I haven't been there since I was a teenager, so I'm due. Got to get out there, Keith.
Right.
One place that I have been more recently is Ramtail, and I know your group has been there, and I'm just wondering what you may have picked up from that location.
Well, actually, our group took a couple of visits there in 2 teams. The first team that went, I was part of, and we didn't actually find the mill proper. What we found was, I guess it was a whole complex of buildings.
Exactly.
And what we found were like the foundations and such of the other buildings.
Right. It's difficult to find the actual mill complex unless you know exactly where the site is. But I know what you mean. There is all the foundations.
And just for our audience who might not know of the location, it is in Foster, Rhode Island. A little bit difficult to find, as we've been saying. Yeah,
it's way out in the woods. But we got some pictures of mists, and we did pick up on, some entities there. didn't get much in the way of EVP.
Yeah.
The second team that went, N.E.A.R was part of it. He knew where the mill proper was.
Right.
So they got to, go to the actual mill.
Need to go with
mill
somebody who's
site.
been there.
You
It's
have
hard to find.
You really do.
Yes.
Or go during the day, or
They usually don't come away empty-handed, though.
No, they also
Usually
got
come
some
away with some
activities.
ticks.
Yeah, right,
Yeah.
exactly. Yes, you do that.
That's
yeah.
true. That's true. But they did get some reaction with their equipment, with their meters, that kind of thing. At one point, I think Andy was carrying like a lantern, and he felt someone like pulling it from
Oh, yeah.
behind.
Because
that
that's
kind of thing.
phenomena that people have experienced at that location. The
Really?
swinging lantern phenomena, and what looks like that. Am I correct, Keith?
Yes,
I
yes,
haven't actually
exactly.
witnessed
With
it. So.
Right.
Peleg
Yeah. Peleg Walker would have carried the
carrying
lantern,
it.
and
Well,
people
Andy
have
had
experienced
one,
that, yeah.
and someone was pulling on it from behind him.
Yeah, I guess they recognized it maybe from
Maybe
the past.
they wanted to borrow it.
Yeah.
Maybe the other one burnt out or
Yeah.
something.
By the way, I wanted to comment on your ghost tattoo there. You have
I
to.
like that.
There's no way we can get a close-up of that,
I don't
is
know.
there?
Can we get a close-up on that? That's-
Yes, I got a little ghost tattoo. My
it's
one and
it's
only.
really nice. I like
Yes,
that.
Thank
And,
you.
That's kind of a symbol for your group, is it?
Well, years ago, when I got it, there were a few of us that we called ourselves the Ghosty Girls.
Uh-huh.
And
That's catchy.
we all got the same tattoo. The actual original tattoo had a large ghost with a couple of little ghosts kind of looking over, and I just went with the large ghost because I was chicken and didn't want the extra time to do the smaller ghost. But the other three ladies went for the whole thing, and they got the same tattoo. So
Cool.
they're no longer members of the group, but we're united by tattoos.
It happens.
still.
That's cool. That's really cool. Well, in our last minute, we wanted to ask you about one other location, the Charles W. Morgan.
Oh, yes, yes, that one comes up a lot.
Yeah, the
That
mystic
was
there.
that was another location that was just fascinating as far as the history goes.
Yeah.
I didn't know a whole lot about it. I remembered going there as a child, but I just knew it was a big old boat. I didn't really remember what it was used for. We did get a lot of evidence. We got a lot of EVP pictures.
Old whaling ship. Yeah.
Andy, who never experiences anything, actually saw an apparition. Again, he thought it was a person. He was above deck all by himself. There were security people from the seaport with us, and he saw a man standing across the ship, kind of against the far railing, and he walked over to say hello because he thought it was one of the security people, and he came around one of the big masts, and the guy was gone.
Wow.
So-
Unbelievable. Well, it's about time to wrap it up already. It goes by so fast. But anybody from our studio audience, if you'd like to come down, meet Maggie Florio in person, now's the time. If you'd like to come on down, and Maggie, will you come back and see us again?
I would love
Got
to.
so much to talk about. You made the evening news for that, the Charles W. Morgan, didn't you?
We did get a lot of media attention
Yes.
for that one. Yeah, we did.
Come on down, everybody. Maggie, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you for
It
being
was a
our wonderful
pleasure.
guest.
Thank you,
And
Maggie.
come back again with Andrew. And
Yes, I will.
we look
I will.
forward to that. Thanks so
Hi.
much.
Nice to meet you. Hi. How do you do? Okay. Thank you, Marge. Thank you.
Very good job.